And you mentioned before Brendan Ingle, obviously, he changed a lot of lives in
Yeah,
Sheffield and was a brilliant trainer. But your relationship with him was pretty up and down, wasn't it, through the years?
yeah. Looking back, me and Brendan had some fallouts with Brendan over the years, and as a kid, I used to fall out with Brendan. He'd tell me to do something, and I was pretty stupid back then. He were only trying to tell me what to do for my own benefit. But I'd got a bad attitude. I wasn't a very nice kid back then, so I never used to listen to him. I used to think, I used like most teenagers. I thought, I know best. I know better than this person. Like your parents have it in the gym with the kids. Kids thinking they know better than the parents. Well, I were exactly the same. Looking back, it's quite embarrassing to think that Brendan would try and do his best, telling me what to do, but here I am thinking I know best because I was like a smart horse or that kind of thing. And then I always tell everybody, like I said, me and Brendan didn't always get along all the way through my career. We had fall in and fall out, but it's the best thing I ever did meeting Brendan Ingle. Like I said, just before he died, I went down to the gym and we kind of like shook hands. And everything that you'd fell out with over the years, it all seemed trivial back then, which they probably are. You fall out with people in life, and sometimes you think to yourself, it's just pathetic. So looking back, when me and Brendan fell out, we'd see each other at shows and we'd be all right and things like that. But fighters left his gym, came to my gym. Fighters left my gym, and so we never actually had an argument and had a blazing row and fell out. So it was pretty sad that as we both got older, that we didn't speak. We only saw each other at shows. It'd been nice to have, sat down and had a cup of tea with him and had a chat about the good old days and whatever. Like I say, you can't spend as many years as I spent with Brendan. Like I say, 16 to 33. That's a long time to spend with somebody. Um, and you can't. I went all over the world with Brendan. I boxed in France twice. I boxed in Italy twice, Portugal, uh,
Switzerland.
Switzerland. You travel all over the world with somebody like that, and it's a camaraderie that you kind of like build up. Yeah, as your trainer, as your manager, but when you're traveling to these places like Switzerland, and you talk about everything, and different experiences. So I've got nothing bad to say about Brendan Ingle. Best thing I ever did meeting Brendan.